For his presentation today, Mr. Kirtley asked the Facebook world what they wanted to hear about, and he is excited to share with you everything he knows about at-home practice. So let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Adrian Kirtley.
Here we go. Disclaimer. This session has nothing to offer those who have no intention of trying anything new. Okay, so if you come to Team Yay and you stay at them hotels and you just love the way you do things, you can stay the whole time. I'll crack some jokes, but you're not going to get a lot out of it unless you're okay with trying a couple things new. And then the second thing is that achieving successful at-home practice is always going to require extra work from the teacher. Unfortunately, there are no cheat codes or magic spells otherwise yet to have been discovered. Okay, it's work with you in order for them to work at home. This is what a teacher looks like when their kids are practicing efficiently. Okay, this and only this. Okay, if you don't look like this, your kids probably are really not doing it right. Music teachers, don't forget when you're asking kids to do things at home, you are highly specialized in your skills and irreplaceable in the musical growth of each of your students for the time they're assigned to you. There are tiny skills that you have gotten used to having that you don't even realize are skills. They've compounded on top of each other, and you are the expert until they move on to someone else, or they try something else. But for that amount of time, you are light years ahead. The most basic choir director knows so much more than most of the advanced students of these big booming programs. And always remember that as you're expecting them to do things at home. I like to use the analogy whenever you're asking a kid, practice at home this weekend. If you haven't given them enough tools to do so, it is like asking a 5-year-old to practice bowling at home because they went to a bowling birthday party. Okay? Practice bowling now. He's like, I love bowling. It went so great. Okay, when they don't have any tools, what does that look like when they get home? They're standing there. They didn't realize that the ball had to be pretty heavy and perfectly shiny. They didn't realize that the ground had to be really long and smooth. They certainly do not know how to score, okay? They have no idea how to score. It's all automated. But they're sharing and competing with each other, and so it feels like they are professional athletes in the moment. So, at home they have no smooth, heavy ball, no pins, nothing to send the ball back. They have no clue how scoring works. And in kindergarten, they all get bumpers, so they can feel like they're achieving something. They don't realize that most of their joy comes from, can't pat my chest, okay? They don't realize that most of their joy comes from the successes they made under the safety and consistency of bumper guards. They also don't realize that a score of a 50 in bowling is terrible. Okay? Because in a community of baby bowlers, a 50 might be the best score in the game. Without a sense of community and scale, there is no value in the score itself. So when you send kids home to practice, they don't know, hi Tim, sorry. They don't know if it's good or bad. The numbers mean nothing. Okay, so it only felt like something because they can see how they're comparing to their friends, and they have bumpers. It's a very low-risk situation at a kindergarten bowling game. Imagine a kindergarten bowling game with no bumpers. Now that is sad. So if we really want to promote successful practice at home, we have to simulate the birthday bowling experience in all of its complexities at home with as many tools as we can to the best of our ability. Or they will feel like they can only be successful in the bowling alley at the birthday party, and thus they will only practice at birthday parties, essentially guaranteeing that they get the same score forever. Because how good do you get at bowling at only birthday parties? Okay? So we want them to feel like they can practice at home so that it's not just in the choir room that they can get better at things. Okay? Oh yeah, I love memes. And Like, there we go. When you're trying to stay positive, we're going to see line just bit off a chunk of your head. Is that not just what a little bit we sometimes a little bit feel like? Okay. That's nothing exciting, but it's just, that was, yeah. Okay. Purpose of rehearsing with a director that can be deterrents for practicing at home. So the things that make it easy for a kid to sound pretty in the classroom that will become hurdles and will turn them off to making progress at home. These are reasons kids stop practicing. They'll press the practice track for middle school regional. They'll press play for, you know, the multi-movement high school all-state audition. And they're 14 years old. They were born in 2010. Okay, 2010. And they will stop practicing because it's too high. It's too long. The song's too long. Or like, I can't sing that high, that randomly for that long. Okay. They always start from the top of the song, and then they sing straight through, collecting an unsurmountable amount of mistakes as they go. Maybe they just can't, straight up, they can't find the tracks. They don't know where they are, okay? You said you gave it to them, they're in the email, okay? You sent them on a remind, but for whatever reason, they can't find the track. If they can't find the track in 5 to 6 seconds, they have already started playing 2K, my friends. They have. You have to make it quicker. You have to make it easier, or they are doing something else. And I'm not talking about your bottom of the barrel. I'm not talking about the fried cook from Arby's, like, I need a fine arts credit. I'm talking about your kids that have round 4 in 2 weeks. They will do something else if they can't find those tracks quickly, okay? Tech limits. Old devices, maybe you make it available, but when they get home, it's just like, I don't know, like not normal new devices. A lot of kids won't practice because there's not really any accountability. Like, there's all these kids in choir. I mean, he's never going to know if I practice. So, like, I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. There's 69 other people to catch up the slack. And I'm cool with giving like 38th chair in zone 4 of the Alto 1 room at Region. Cool. But no one knows. I'm sure no one else is practicing either. So then the last one, it sounded fine in class. So what exactly am I supposed to be working on? They don't necessarily know what it is that they should be doing at home when it sounds pretty good with all those strong leaders around you. My top 3 key considerations when expecting effective at-home practice. The thing I most need to consider is intrinsic motivation and what that really looks and feels like, because you cannot guarantee a kid wanting to practice more than if it comes from deep down, right next to food, water, and Roblox or whatever. Intrinsically, they've got to want it. The second consideration is choir room simulation. You have to kind of virtual reality all of the tricks and tools that you have as a director. And you have to make them feel like they've got the VR headset on. Oh my gosh, all the pitches just right there in front of me. How neat, oh yes. I'm so skilled. Guided pacing. How long? You know, when should I get some water? Is it just all night till tomorrow? Do I just practice till tomorrow? Is that what you want? Okay, so he said practice for an hour. Cool, so this song's 25 minutes, and so that's 4 run-throughs. Load of mistakes, 1 hour, cool, I'll make all safe. Nope. So, starting with intrinsic motivation, unless your kids subconsciously want to practice, they'll always be limited in their at-home success. There are ways to help fuel an intrinsic desire to practice, and the mind of a teenager is different from the mind of the adult. Obviously, it's different from the mind of a 5-year-old. And I don't know much about the 5-year-olds, but I have studied a lot about secondary kids and what makes them want to practice. So intrinsic motivation, how to get that going. So phase 2, I'm going to start with the right side, actually. Examples of extrinsic limiters. Okay, if you say practice today and you get something like candy, cool. But what happens when you run out of candy? Cool. What if they like chocolate but not sweet? They get the candy. They will, if you do something extrinsic, they will find the line of expectation and they will sit right on it or just right below it. Okay, because that's what you do for the candy, I guess. Okay, awards or results. If the only reason for practicing is to get first chair, you'll have no idea how good your kids can get. You'll have no clue, okay? If you're only praising your kids if they succeed at the end of the day, then what happens after that contest in September or October? You've got all this time, and they've already decided, well, I didn't win, so cool, why am I practicing? The getting first chair or whatever, winning a contest, with my kids specifically, I focus so hard on the process, and we're always just reaching for this nebulous idea of excellence, whatever that looks like, and every day we in rehearsal, I'm like, better of next class. I mean, they sound literally better than anything I've ever heard, and I have to just sip an empty can of Red Bull and be like unimpressed, so they were, better luck next time. And then they're like, oh my God. But they have this constant desire to be excellent, but there's not a line to that. And then months of practicing, going for something they don't even know what it sounds or looks like yet. They have a contest and they realize they could have stopped like 400 hours ago and been first chair. I mean, it happened so long ago. The expectations are so limiting, getting first chair in the face. So just don't, or like end of the year awards, stuff like that. Those are side effects of progress. That's a good bumper sticker, okay? Grades, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, if you're on my roster, you've got me 100 in my class for lots of years. Because I've never given someone a worse grade and then had the choir be better later, ever. I mean, can I get an amen? Has that ever happened? Have you ever given someone a 95 and then like the next day, they sound just hydrated and in tune? Like, no, it has nothing to do with it. Grades, just a lot of times grades, if you're wanting grades to make sure people follow through, that's cool, okay? But if you're wanting grades to make the kids get better at home, good luck, okay? Because grades do not intrinsically really motivate kids. It's a fear, bad grades is a fear. It's not like exciting, okay? So anyways, things that make kids intrinsically want to practice. Music they love to sing. My friends, you have got to listen to the whispers when you pick a song for your choir. There should be yes, every single song, period. Okay? If you pick a song and you pull it, all right, let's get out bubble, and they go, it matters. Okay? They don't like it. They do not like it. Okay? Stop holding on to pieces, thinking maybe after we get sweepstakes, they'll respect this just ugly piece. Ugly, right? We need to stop picking ugly pieces for these kids to practice. Give a little clap, okay? There's so much beautiful music, and when I give a song to a choir, I am hyper-analyzing on the twitch of their lid. I'm looking to see if they look back at each other. I want to see excitement. I want to see, ooh. I have to make sure the first recording I show them is really good, really in tune. And if they don't like it, we are not going to sing it because they're not there for me and my taste. I am there for them, period, okay? And why? Because I want them to get better. And there is nothing more painful than trying to get kids to practice on music they do not like, okay? If you struggle with getting them to like music by dead people, okay? I mean public domain, 100 years or older. I don't know why teens just, if I were to give a piece by Bach in like D major, they're like, whatever, it's fine. The exact same piece in D minor, they're like, whoa, rock on. I don't know what it is about dead guy music in minor. but try it. If you want them to do that new hiding piece you have, just go ahead and change the key. Make it minor. See what happens. I promise you, okay? I promise you. Songs that you think are cool, imagine Dies Irae by Mozart in major. Yeah. No one's right there. Kids are, the second one, kids are excited intrinsically when they can see measurable progress. There's a dopamine hit, there's a serotonin dump when they can see that they just leveled up. That's why Pokemon is so popular. That's why all those other level up things are so popular. Do you think Pokemon would be popular if you just practice with your Pokemon for like all summer long, 3 months, and you never knew what level they were? Okay, and they never evolved. You just had Squirtle forever, just like mysteriously level 1 forever. No, but they will catch every single Pokemon and they will level it up because it is addictive for a teenager to see that they are leveling up. So when you're asking them to practice sight reading, you've got to find a way for them to see that they've gotten better. Okay, if you're asking them to practice something at home, you've got to find a way for them to see that today is better than yesterday by a margin that I'm looking at it, and it's measured by all my peers. And when you figure that out, then they're addicted to practicing. And I tell my kids when they're practicing for sight and for all state, they're like, Mr. Kirtley, it's going terribly, oh my gosh, I can't do it. Then boom, randomly one day they're like, Mr. Kirtley, I cannot stop. And they're like weirdly addicted. I always say, once you're addicted to the sight reading, you are reading 60s. It's done, okay? Get them addicted, and it's a game over. You can't stop. I'm like, so I'm like, you don't need to solve the school bell. I'm like, the third one, peer awareness, collaboration, and comparison. Oh my gosh, did you just hear your APs squeal with teak? Like, oh my god, collaboration. You'll sound so fancy on the T-test, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, this is where the T-test, blah, blah, blah merges with the subconscious urge to practice. When kids can see how they are pairing with their friends. Okay? It isn't enough to stay in your lane. Choir, band, it's a community sport. There are probably much fewer of us if we all completely just stayed in our lane. It's a community thing. And when kids can practice and they can see that their practice is applauded in comparison to their friends, oh my gosh, game over. They'll do anything to just stay on that level. This is just, it's not a meme, but it's funny. So, I was in the I was in the front office copying things, and you know how long do we spend copying sight reading? I thought it was good at all. Okay, the 6A varsity sight reading on top of our page with 90 people. So it's just a dread experience, and right above the copy machine was this page, and it happened to be placed there by the counselors who have coping strategies if your kids are going through something emotionally. But because I was copying, I thought it was a copying strategies. And I wanted to just take a look at some of the options. I was like, wow, they're really going, yeah, sure. Take deep breaths. Do positive activity. Play sports. Practice yoga. Let's see. Stand up and stretch. Listen to music. Say, I can do this. Think about someone you love. Eat a healthy snack. Blow bubbles. That's a good one. I was like, these are some excellent copying strategies. Wow, I am gonna, it says, look, number 44, play with clay. I'm gonna try to. Okay. Next thing here. Okay, tools that I found to fuel intrinsic desire to practice. And here people go who don't like new apps. Blah. Let's just do it for them. Go. Blah. Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You might not be inspired by things that you've heard of but haven't really dove into, but some of these things are extremely useful. Flipgrid, TikTok UX, hear me out. Okay, time and effort log. You don't know what that is, but I'll tell you. And then a sighting card. You also don't know what that is, but I'll tell you. Okay. Flipgrid. If you haven't heard it, here's a QR you can download if I convince you to enhance your life. It's a free video submission app. Works on any kind of device. You don't understand how big a video is until you're collecting it from 300 people. And it's a big issue to do it on like a Google Drive. It's like really the interface when you get a bunch of files on Google Drive, you're just looking at little icons. You can't see the person, whatever. This is a whole other ballgame. Okay, it has unlimited video submission and storage, and it allows for all the resources in one place. And I don't have like an example. I thought I was going to be able to put my iPad up there, but it looks like as if you're scrolling through videos on YouTube, and it'll have their name next to it and a little picture of them, like, because it says cheese, and they're like, and you can put a really specific thing on the top, like measure 8 through 12. Do this by tomorrow. Here's a YouTube video. Here's a tempo track. Here's a piano track. Here's the sheet music. Here's a snack, QR snack. It's tasty and delicious. And they do it, and if you're consistent with this, they complain less. You do it once, you do it twice, you do it 3 times. And this is the thing now, Mr. Kirtley's on it. Mr. Kirtley's on a Flipgrid kick, okay? But the sky's the limit with Flipgrid. We do these like 2 submissions a week at least, and our show part is basically sponsored by Flipgrid at this point. You have a little thing in your rehearsal that it just says not. You don't want to spend time. Okay, no alto says tenor. Make it a Flipgrid that night. 2 measures. They'll record a video or they won't. But the videos are public. That's also really helpful. Kids like seeing the other kids' videos. You can make them private if you want. I strongly suggest not. We need to stop coddling the hearts of choir kids and making them feel so fragile. So fragile. Have you seen an all-state band audition? Have you seen one? They go in front of everybody and play their instrument. And choir people are like, I don't even know if I made it, honestly. I'm just gonna, yeah. We'll see next summer if someone mails me a package and the package is QR and I don't know. Stop coddling your children. They can sing in front of others. We need to make them not afraid to share their voice. And if they are afraid to share their voice, maybe yes. They are way too fragile. They could be in choir for 7 years and they will graduate. They will have never, ever sung a moment in front of anyone. And they love to sing. There's just so much fear encapsulating the idea of singing for someone. It's crazy, and it's not them. It's not them. We can make them sing for their friends. And if they really, really hate singing, then they can be in art. Really, truly. If you hate singing, I mean, you don't have to sing in art. You just don't. Okay. Okay, so here's an example of TikTok duet. I'm going to try and play it. So, this is a great way to do sectionals. You can say, oh, this is not clean. And then don't email me about like, okay, so step 1 TikTok, YouTube it or ask one of your kids, they know how. But you make an assignment for like a little measure or something. One person starts it. And then the first person to start it, I always like to be like either a professional or a super, super good student. A great person to have started to be Alyssa Stewart. Are we in here? Alyssa Stewart. Oh my God, I miss you so much. But have someone, so that very first recording is correct, and then they pass a link to the next person, they duet, okay? And then that person layers on top of it, and you can tell, the kid will press play and be like, oh my God, it sounded good, and then I jacked it up. And then they'll just re-record it. Don't let them choose the order of the TikTok duets. Start with a great recording, and then make the order be the biggest procrastinator goes first, and then order that voice part all the way to the last person being I have to get it done right now, like no waiting for me, because down the line they will be forcing the procrastinators to do. He's like, excuse me, it's been 3 minutes, why do I not have all 17 alpha videos yet? Okay? It forces them. If you wait to make the procrastinator last, you are not getting one. Okay? Okay, some girl named Caitlin will force them to do it. Yeah? None of us have a choir without someone named Caitlin. Okay, just start over. This is a time and effort log. For sake of, I don't know, being an adult and privacy, I took off the names. But imagine on the other side of this chart are the names of soprano ones who auditioned for All State. So every round of every audition, I have a dry erase, simple, you can give them a Hobby Lobby River, and I just take it to the board, and I put soprano one. And then I put all the soprano ones that are competing from my school. I put them in alpha order all the way to the bottom. I don't know why I like alpha order, but it gets worse around Z and T and stuff like that. I tell them this time and effort log, I explain it very, very clearly. There is no grading for it. I'm going to get out my little slider because that text is real small. Okay, no, I am just going to read it. So 20 minutes of practice on a song equals 1 square colored in. And each color is a different piece. So if it's middle school region, they've got 3 songs. There's a blue song, there's a red song, there's a yellow song. And when they get in there to school, they grab a marker with the corresponding piece, and they go, I practice 1 hour. That's 3 pink squares. And one, that shows them, if they just have a bunch of pink, that's always the song they love, right? They've got 1 blue, they've got no of the other songs. They can go up there and have a visual representation of like, wow, I literally have not practiced a piece. Okay, or okay, I've got a bunch of pinks, a bunch of blues, but I could use a little more greens. Sometimes they just don't have that laid out. I know what you're thinking. What if they don't practice? I specifically tell them there is no repercussion for someone going in there and lying. Okay, and then I kind of like low-key manipulate and target the idea of a liar doing it. If it makes you feel good to come to choir, grab a marker, and say that you practiced. Cool. You know what it does though? Is that even if liars are going in there and infiltrating their line with a bunch of stuff, first of all, everyone knows they're lying when the results come out, am I right? but it's like a wrap around, and she's like weird. I think it's because like they cough or like there was a bug. But the liars actually help because the kids that are not lying freak out. When they see someone in their voice part, kill it, okay? They watch reruns of whatever all night long, and then here comes Mary Beth blah, 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 with 14 hours of practice. She's like, oh my God. The girl who's freaking out is who probably, can make all sit and keep going. And the other girl is happily lying. We have 2 happy kids. 2! Okay, one's helping the other. It's like this symbiotic relationship. Display in the front of class, something they've got to walk by every day. They can completely ignore it. There's only one All-Stater that I've ever had that hasn't had a ton of these. Luke McCartney, he's a 4-year All-Stater this year. He's got first chair bass 1, bass 2, and first chair alto saxophone. He's crazy. Not one. Okay, not one single square do you ever come up and marker. He's got a full beard. It's his own thing. But everyone else, at the end of the contest, I do not do all this. I don't do this big stand up. If you got 8th chair, give her on applause. All I do is erase, and we start fresh. Round 2, here we go. So you may have gotten 3rd chair, blah, 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 but you saw that 1st chair had all of these markers. Almost 100% of the time, the person with the most squares, the actual most, because the liar won't do the most, they'll do like one of them. The most squares makes all stay. Okay? The people who have tons of practice are achieving things. Give each voice part their own chart, blah, blah, blah. There are 3 tenors, very small amounts of practice, and then like 1 tenor wrapping around the page. Only give praise to those who have increased their amount of practice, not just those with the most. Don't just be like, ooh, Sarah has the most. No, you have to notice when someone went from 4 to 14, even if it's only half as much as the most. You have to let someone know, okay, well, I'm not the best, but my teacher loved that I went home and practiced. Like, ooh, that is a hit. They gotta get it again. They want that again. And I give it to them, okay? I do not praise the chairs, but, or like, oh, so-and-so still in the lead, give her a hand. It's just like, oh my gosh, look who came in last night and practiced all this, blah, blah, blah. Explain that nothing happens if you lie. They do need to know that part. Okay, they need to know that, like, there's nothing on the other side of that. It's all for you. That's what you want to get a card over. Describe the variety of color to show where people are not practicing. You say, as a class, we are not doing this song. And then you can use that as information as an educator to rehearse that song, do your job. Okay, you've got kids that are not practicing the song, you can do more to figure out what it is that is creating a hurdle. There's some, it's too high, it's too fast, they don't like it, it's, I don't know, but you can use that. Okay, so we don't have a lot of blue. What is it? Honestly, and then whatever. Now that is a lesson plan. You've got to work on that. Ask students what they have to practice yet. As a teacher, use the information tool. Clear the chart and start your after major benchmarks. Help those who aren't practicing as much. This is huge. Help those who aren't practicing as much be okay with the results of a contest before it happens. So before the practice chart, kids would go months without practicing, they'd get last year, and they'd be sobbing. I'm like, sister, you did not practice. You didn't practice. You didn't practice. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. I will look at this chart and be like, okay, I need people who are not practicing. I need you to realize that the results of the contest do reflect effort. Are you okay with not advancing this weekend? The answer is yes. Cool. But I have not, in years, I haven't had someone leave an audition crying. They know why. And that's a big part of this process. It can't all be like, I tried my best and it still didn't work. No, you didn't try your best. Mary Beth, I'm sorry if anyone's Mary Beth in here. Twice now, twice. Okay, time to play. UIL, no, this is kind of like, because UIL is it's like so much my job. There's not a lot of things that I ask the kids to practice at home for UIL. This is kind of like, I can't audition for a kid for All-State. I can't audition for a kid from middle school region. In the UIL room, I certainly can rig them in a complicated series of hooks and levers and make the judges think they're dancing. Okay, moving forward. Sight reading progress pack. So if you scan this, you can get the progress pack. If you're in my top choir, you get the choir fee includes the purchase of 90 Days of Sight Reading Success. This is not a promotional environment for them specifically. There's so many avenues to do sight reading stuff, especially Sight Reading Factory. But if you're old school and you really want that book, I require them to get sight reading, the 90 Days of Sight Reading Success. And then I made this progress pack, and again, you want things quick and easy. So when you tell a kid to practice, that QR on the left, and this is like a piece of paper, a sheet through here. That QR code on the left is the 30-second human now up and use sight reading exercise. Okay, so that's what they're holding on. The QR on the right is a score chart in case they're walking around and their friend doesn't have one, they can just score. Literally, you just gotta have an easy way. Okay, I lost mine in the hall. Give me yours. Okay. Great. Okay, cool. And then I think if it doesn't have that, yes. So this is a zoomed in one. Each one of these columns is, so the first column, 1 through 15, that is week 1 through 3 of 90 Days of Sight Reading Success. The columns are, so you get a score for, you do the first exercise, the kids record themselves through means that I can show you later. They can't really do this alone, but they record themselves, they put a score there, and then they go down, maybe the score's a 37, maybe the score's a 38, maybe the score's a 12, maybe, you don't know if they got 12 chair at per area or if they got a score of a 12 out of 16, okay? But their scores go in that far left column, and then you average those first 3 weeks in that bottom box, average 1 through 15. So you can say, okay, so I was averaging at 37, whew. Then the next column, they keep sight reading, maybe they average to 37 again. The next one, it jumps. Okay, now they got 41. The next one, now 41 still feels like, that's 19 mistakes, that still feels like a lot of mistakes. But it feels like a triumph when you got an average of a higher score. Okay, they're watching. This is Pokemon. They are the same characters. And then benchmark 1, that's after the 45 days. So benchmark 1, now you have a big average. Here's where I am right now, okay. Keep going. Hopefully benchmark 2 average is a better number. I'd be shocked if they just tanked somehow on an average of so many, but kids get incrementally better. Then they can start fresh. Okay, so my benchmark average 2 was this. Cool, let me go ahead and order the 90 Days Book 2. Now I copy and paste all the, oh, this is funny. Okay, so I'll go back real quick. I copy and paste all of them to fit on one page. So like days 1 through 15 is on one single page with line. Kids aren't going to carry giant pamphlets of cycling run. You know that, right? They will not carry pamphlets. Okay, so this is just funny. It's not a meme, but my first region meeting, when I was region chair, it was a virtual one because it was during COVID. And right before the meeting, I had my slideshow ready, but there was one thing that was lingering in my head, and it was like, oh my God, I don't know, like the adjourn, the verbiage that you need in the meetings. Like, okay, all like the stuff that Eric Kirtley just does so good, right? Eric Kirtley, man, he knows the words. Okay, make sure we Okay, second, third, that one, yes. I was nervous before the meeting, so I called a friend, like, hey, I got my region meeting on Zoom in 10 minutes. What are those things called? How do I practice? And she's like, just Google Robert's Rules of Order. Because I had only ever heard these rules in TDA meetings, I thought that they were written by Bob Horton. I did. This is a true story. So, before the meeting, feverishly, this is an actual screenshot of my Google searches right before the meeting. Bob Horton, motion second adjourn. Bob Horton, adjourn. Bob Horton, TDA meeting rules. Bob Horton's rules for meeting. Bob Horton, Robert Horton's rules. Okay? All right. I just had to share that with you. The meeting went well. I just did not know those things. And then I found Bob, and she was like, hi Bob, Adrian. I really thought you wrote those things. They're so efficient and fair. Wow, they are fair. Okay. So the next key consideration is the choir room simulation. So isolating each skill. Oh, here we go. Isolating each skill that the director provides in rehearsal and the tools the classroom environment includes, and trying to give kids access to each one, essentially acting as the bumpers. You can give kids bumpers at home. It takes a lot. Okay. Remove the potential hurdles or excuses. This is an easy thing. This is a big poster in the classroom, but I also screenshot and I texted to all the kids. A QR one-stop shop, okay? They can save it in their photos, make an album of it, but you scan that one, it's all the practice tracks. You scan the bottom one, it's all the sheet music, okay? You scan the sheet music, and you can scan this right now, but it's going to be 2023's All-State Music. But find a way to compile all the stuff they need into one screen. Boom. If it's any more like this, flip, you lost 30%. QR one-stop shop. Okay, next slide. I like to just print off a QR to the practice track for a specific song and slap it to their laptop. So if they're in a voice lesson with the thing, they can practice. They can, Mom, can I borrow your phone? Now they're practicing on the bus, they're practicing in the car. This is not hard. You also can I always give the original copies as they're getting off of the bus to go to run one, because I preload the scores with markings. So I just print this with the thing on it, but you can do it however you want. It's really, really important that when they grab a piece of music, they realize, oh, I can listen to the lady. Cute. Unique tracks with a click, with a metronome. Okay, these kids do not have rhythm. Okay, they don't. They're at home. They're just elbow, wrist. The click allows them to have a beat deep down when there is no click. I wonder if it'll just play when I press this little button. now I'm going to shout out to goodness. If you do not know this man, Ruben Reyes, okay. Woohoo! You can email him, ruben.reyes.piano@gmail.com. He, ever since COVID, every song, my choirs have done every song. He has recorded for us a track for it. They've got very specific instructions as to how I like it. He'll send the first one, and then he goes, all right, take one, let me know what you need. And I'll say specific things. Measure 50, quarter note, metronome, to help feel retardando. And then measure 51 section after that, back to the half note beat. Really specific rubato stuff, so that when we're practicing at home, it's not the MIDI, tick, 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 tick. It feels like we're taking all the way to the end. And then you send take two, like 10 minutes later. You can, I got permission, you can email him, it's a very fair price. He can do the voice stacking over and everything, and God, it's amazing. Make your piano track exactly the way you want it. And sometimes, like if the all-state accompaniment track is too simple, like it's just a simple accompaniment, then he can layer things on top of it to make it followable. So only in sleep, the rhythm is so hard and slow. So when my girls want to do the audition, it went like this. Look at these videos. This is how I taught Handel's DC Dominus. I make a little, it's literally ET. You can take any song and you can just say, okay, this page, I'm going to sit at my piano, I'm going to screen record my music, my little iPhone, I'm sitting at the piano, and it's as if they're in the room with me and I'm doing the repetitions with them for them. I'm just like. Let me keep going. We learned the whole thing like down, long snap, torso. This is the alto, a little clip from the alto one. So down, snap, torso, short, short. So the down snap is the beat you have. Down, torso, smooth. Smooth is 2 beats. Down, down, snap, that's smooth is that's the last, right? Short, now this theme right here, with the blue, we're going to call that boom shakalaka. So boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, down, snap, smooth, short, short. Boom shakalaka, this thing on my phone, boom shakalaka, down, snap, smooth, short, short. Simple music. It doesn't have to be big Handel's DC Dominus with Paul Walking over this like, okay, condense your scores. Condense your scores. If it's a 55-page piece of music with 2 measures on a page, condense it. Make it smaller. It's just too much. And also, my kids call it the Kirtley version. Mr. Kirtley, remember your Kirtley version of this song? Let's just break down this one beat of a very complex round 3, round 4 piece from last year. Imagine being a kid that's like, okay, so the S is silent, okay, cool. So it's D, and then instead of the tits, it's T, not P, but T, so schwa, so D, no S, and then T, and then T, petit, and then the S is lighted, D, okay, over to the O, so it becomes a Z, but the O and the I obviously is wa. Okay, so we have des petits voix, and then, oh yeah, obviously S-E-A-U-X is O. So, des petits oiseaux, that is 1.5 beats of lots of pages, okay? So the original score, you can, and I'm giving examples from hard pieces, but you know, you can do it with any song. Section A, section B, and then section C is on the next page. Tons of French. Oh my God, so much French. Okay, and then the piano is also like on the 16th, right after the beat. It's so hard. Section D, and then a return to A, but you don't know it because you're lost. Return to A2, you're so lost, you don't even know. Look at that trill of the piano, measure 26, you know. Like, oh God, the trill already. So that's like, what, 4 pages of section, and then the ones that my kids get, I don't know why I did, Kirtley version, okay, is section A. Section B, color code the sections so they know, oh, similar material. Section C, condense it. It has only, not IPA. IPA is really confusing, by the way. You have to blend IPA with other things. Or they're still going to be like, I don't know, upside down E. I promise you they won't. A2, A3, color code it, put the singing track and the piano doubling so they can try it with both. So 6 pages condensed into 2. Give it a shot. If you want a tutorial on Sibelius, singing next, okay. This is zoomed in on one bar, so if you see, it doesn't have any of the actual French stuff. It's just got stuff they can read. I tell them the squiggle is nasal. Liaison, and then I highlight the strong beats, so they're going from highlight to highlight. Liaison, ma colline, piton, la colline, cal, jour de clim, au rouge, horizon. I say bass is enter measure 9, it's just 10. Okay, so, and then I had a dyslexic student, advanced to round 4, and I really wanted that person to feel successful in learning this, and what a nightmare. So that student got just a giant, this fills a page, this big, giant words, liaison, no notes. She can memorize the pitches and rhythms. It's too many layers of black and white stuff on a page. Like, oh, how frustrating. So just make it bigger, blow it up. This is guided practice, so I'll say practice 1. Section A is a 3x1 with just listening. Listen to voice track 3 times. Don't sing, listen. Okay, imagine trying to learn how to say something in Spanish and right as they tell you the word, you just go, ah! Okay, you didn't learn the word, you just smack. Okay, you listen to the track 3 times, sing once. Listen twice, sing once. Listen once, sing once. A 1 rep of a full cut, you've got to record it. Listen to the recording, send it to the teacher. Great, eat a snack, do things you love, enjoy life. Sopranos, drink a full glass of water, not a joke. Practice 2, you listen to the recording you just made, and if you didn't make mistakes, go to the next section. Do another 3x1. If you did make mistakes, you do an abridged version of that again with just the mistake section. So if it's 1 measure mistake, you're not listening to the whole section. You're listening to 1 measure. 3 times same, 3 times same for just a measure. Then if you don't make mistakes, you move on. Send it. All this is on the PowerPoint in the Google Drive, blah blah blah. You can see it all. If you made no mistakes at all on the entire piece, then you go into listening and polishing them. Get a great recording, full through. Your new practice is now listening to that recording 3 times a day with no singing. After hitting it 3 times a day, only re-record if you have something you specifically want done to it. I want to do this. Try it, record it. If you hate it, be like, this, that was dreadful. If not, stay hydrated, ready for your audition. Pace, section 1, do these with the kids. Measure 1 through 11, at home. Sectionals, dirty lunch, they will hold each other accountable. This is also on mine. And the thing, and, I think we're done. Try new things. Wow yourself. I'll be here if you want to ask more questions about the last slide. Okay? But other than that, thank you so much for coming.